Well, I had intended to go sequentially in this story, but instead of that, I think from now this is 1952. Now I'll jump ahead to probably 1970, a few years later. Uh, by that time, I had a case on which I was called in consultation, and this was a young fellow, a newspaper boy. And the story is that he was delivering newspapers, and he fell and broke his ankle, and then he had a cast put on, and that all went well. Now I'm seeing him in consultation because he developed a fever, and they weren't sure what. So I examined him and made a diagnosis of bacterial endocarditis. And I treated him with penicillin appropriately, and fortunately it worked very, very well, and it cured him, no question. What was the problem? The problem is that the insurance company was willing to pay for the cast of the broken ankle, but was not willing to pay for the subsequent bacterial endocarditis. I said that the bacterial endocarditis came from an infection where the cast had rested on the foot and caused an infection, and that had gone up to the heart valve, and that was the cause, and they did not accept it. Well, it came to a trial, and it was not a regular trial. It was the Industrial Commission, because the Industrial Commission, and the Industrial Commission is, I think there's 3 commissioners listen to the presentation, and it's a little bit different from a ordinary trial, in as much as an ordinary trial, one has to you can only answer what is asked, but in an industrial commission, they're interested in getting at the truth, and you can volunteer information. It's very the judges or the commissioners ask questions, so it's a very less more informal type of situation. Anyhow, I testified, as I told you, that he had bacterial endocarditis, and the cause was the infection from the shaft, etc. Then they called in the witness against me, and I thought I would faint when I saw who it was. It was Francis Rosenbaum. Francis Rosenbaum was my mentor. I thought he was absolutely great. I respected him, and to have him come up, I really felt very badly. Anyhow, he testified contrary-wise. He testified that lesion on the foot, which he hadn't seen, the lesion on the foot was not the cause. That lesion that I saw was a rheumatic nodule. That's a pretty rare thing, but anyhow, that was a rheumatic nodule, and it was not cause of the infection, etc. Make a long story short, the commissioners agreed with me. His credentials were much, much more than mine, and yet they agreed with me, and so I thought vindicated. Okay, now we'll go back to my main internship. When I was after medical school, I went to Milwaukee again. Maybe I'll relate that happened, but anyhow, I was in Milwaukee, and at the Milwaukee County Hospital, and I have I've been taken care of by, I think it was a woman, and she had fever and a low blood count. Anyhow, my mentor, the staff, what we call a staff man, was Dr. Hirschbeck, who was hematologist, and subsequently became dean of the medical school. At any rate, the person had a very high white blood count and all the findings of leukemia. And Dr. Hirschbeck agreed this was leukemia. And the treatment, I think, was 6-MP or something. Whatever it was, it didn't do much good. It was a downhill course. In the course of it, she developed pulmonary infiltrations and a liver and a spleen and all the things that went along with leukemia, and subsequently died. At post-mortem, she had tuberculosis, a diagnosis that had not even been considered. I subsequently did a review of the literature and found similar cases of very high white blood count in which widespread tuberculosis could simulate leukemia. As a matter of fact, I think if we did the skin test, it was negative or would have been negative because the person was so sick. At any rate, the one clue that I noted that might have been a clue is that her white blood count, which had the very high white count, did not have the high band count that should have had if indeed it was leukemia. But anyhow, it was kind of a comeuppance that we missed that diagnosis completely and didn't even consider it.